Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. We're ready for the event.
All right. In that case, Kelly and Mark, good morning. This is Mission Control Houston. Please call the International Space Station for a voice check.
Hello, guys. Good morning.
Testing is second. There's new dose.
You hear us?
Good morning. We hear you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the International Space Station. And first, let's start out by saying how sorry we are to hear about Regis's passing. Our hearts go out to you and the entire staff of the show.
Thank you so much.
All start.
Okay, here we go. Stand by, you guys. We got 81. 81. 3, 2, 1. Roll up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
It is never not impressive. That was the SpaceX Dragon taking off. It is, we both have goosebumps. We're about to do our first ever interview from space. Joining us will be NASA astronauts Doug Hurley, Bob Behnken, and Chris Cassidy. They're all on board the Dragon right now, so let's get started. Station, this is live with Kelly and Ryan. How do you hear me?
Live with Kelly and Ryan. This is Chris, Bob, and Doug. Welcome to the International Space Station. We have you loud and clear.
Wow.
How is it going up there? This is the most nervous I've ever been doing an interview. How are you?
Well, you're doing great, Kelly. Keep it up. We'll talk to you gladly. But we're doing fantastic. We've had a wonderful 2 months together as a three-person crew. It's sad for me to see Bob and Doug depart this weekend. We've got some weather that we're watching, so God willing, they'll get off on time. But we've had a fantastic stay together.
So you're going to stay for another couple months. They're leaving, but you're going to stay on board.
Yeah, that's right. I arrived in April with 2 Russian cosmonauts on a Soyuz, and we were here for a few months before Bob and Doug arrived, and we depart in October. And it was really quite special to fly right over the Kennedy Space Center 2 minutes before they launched, and to know that they were making a beeline to rendezvous with us the next day.
I'm noticing this little sparkly dinosaur floating in the foreground there. That's very cool.
Oh, wow.
Never gets old.
Oh,
Never gets
man.
old. So since there is no gravity, obviously, how are you staying so still?
Well, Kelly, it's a good question for us, and we've got our feet locked into some foot restraints on the ground, and so you can see if we don't lock ourselves in, we'll just float right away. So we've been practicing that for the last 2 months, and Doug and I just about have it down as well as Chris does. Of course, he's been here a little bit longer. And you mentioned our little dinosaur, the little Apatosaurus that our sons selected for us to be able to demonstrate zero gravity even when we were locked in, had our feet locked to the floor or locked to the seats as we were heading uphill in Dragon.
You know, nobody's kids think that they're cool, but I bet all of your kids think that you are extraordinarily cool. I have to ask, because these are questions that we keep getting asked by everyone. How do you go to the bathroom when there is no gravity?
Well, that is a question we often get, and I think the best way to answer it is it takes a little more time, and you have to be very particular and very careful. And other than that, it is similar to Earth, but as you mentioned, the effects of gravity greatly increase your chances for success on Earth compared to in space. So you just have to be pretty careful while going about your business.
How's the food up there, guys?
Well, the food. None of us are picky eaters, although there's a few items I won't share with you that none of us like, and those always seem to be the last items left. But the food is really tasty. There's a food lab at the Johnson Space Center that fixes it and sends it on up. There's some items that you can just buy in the grocery store, things that would have a long shelf life, canned fish and that sort of thing. But there's plenty of it. In fact, there's a lot of food up here currently. And we're never for a shortage of what to decide to eat.
Do you burn more calories in outer space, or something I'm always curious about? Like, is there a gravity thing that restricts your calories from sticking to your body?
I don't know if we have some special things up here that kind of keep the calories burning off, other than exercise, just like it is back on Earth. One of the things that we have to do on orbit to maintain our health and our fitness for our returns, Doug and I will land in the water, and we'll want to be in good shape for that in case we need to, climb out of the capsule or something. And Chris's crew has that capability as well. And so we exercise for about 2 hours every day with weightlifting and either running or cycling on various equipment that's been developed and honed up here on the International Space Station. And so I don't think there's anything magic about our time on the International Space Station. Folks do come back in better health, typically better physical fitness levels than when they launched, but it's really ascribed to that 2 hours of exercise every day, just like it would be back home. Sorry, we don't have an easy answer.
No, it's a great answer.
But I think you're wrong. We think it is magic, what you guys are doing.
Yeah,
up
definitely.
There. It's really special.
What would you say is the most dangerous part of your job?
Well, I think generically the expectation from most people is that being an astronaut's a dangerous job. Obviously, the launch and the landing phases are pretty dynamic from a physics standpoint. You go from 0 to 17,500 miles an hour when you launch, and then when you return back to Earth, you have to slow down from 17,500 miles an hour to 0. So all that takes a lot of engineering and technology to pull it off successfully. But I think, the men and women of our military, the fire departments, the police, all those folks have very risky jobs as well. And you just have to mitigate that risk with backup systems and procedures and plans and training, and do your job, and everything will turn out fine.
Now, Doug, I understand that you grew up in a very small town in New York, and you actually grew up with one of our producers, Dana Dodge. Is it true that you know each other?
Oh, yeah. When you grow up in a town the size that we grew up in, I think you know almost everybody. There was just a few hundred people back then, and we went to school together. I think we were only one grade apart. And Appalachia, New York. So kind of cool that she's been working there for many, many years, from what I understand.
She really has, and small galaxy, isn't it? I would say small world, but from your perspective, it's a small galaxy. So, very quickly before we sign off here, what kind of liquids can you drink in space? Can you have, is there a cocktail hour in space?
Well, it seems like we're drinking water all the time. Bob has an example of our water bags here. They fly up as empty bags labeled drinking water for what it becomes when you put the water in there. And a bag of coffee, empty, is labeled coffee, so it turns into coffee when you add the water. And when we consume this and go to the bathroom, kind of tying into the question you asked Doug, that water we reclaim, and it turns into tomorrow's drinking water. So we recycle quite a high percentage of our water up here, including condensate from our sweaty T-shirts. So here you can see an example of yesterday's coffee floating nice and cleanly in the environment here, and every hour is cocktail hour for astronauts, because you can drink balls of water fluid right out of the air like that.
Well, it was great talking to all of you, and it was really thrilling for us. Good luck on the rest of your mission. Godspeed and a safe re-entry. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the Live with Kelly and Ryan portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from the Discovery Channel.
Station, this is Josh Gates with Discovery Channel. Do you read me?
Hi, Josh. Loud and clear. Welcome to the space station.
Thank you very much. Colonel Behnken, Colonel Hurley, Commander Cassidy, a great pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for taking the time. You know, it's not that unusual, I guess, in this day and age to call someone a couple of hundred miles away. You don't often get to call someone 200 miles above you, traveling 17,000 miles an hour. So if the call drops, it's definitely on your end.
We hear that often.
Well, listen, first of all, if Wikipedia is to be believed, I believe birthday wishes are in order, Bob. Is that true?
That's true. I got to join the 50-year-old club just like these two other guys who are up here with me on the International Space Station. They've been teasing me all day about it, and I bet you I got a few more hours of getting teased. But it has been a wonderful experience to be able to share a special event like turning 50 with close friends, and to do it on board the International Space Station is a pretty awesome thing to have happen to you.
Yeah, I know it's not safe to put 50 candles on a cake in a high oxygen environment, but please at least make everybody sing to you, okay?
You heard the man. You guys better start singing.
So listen, during the launch, I know that our host, Chris Jacobs, had a chance to speak with you, and Chris assured him that he was going to have a really warm welcome for you, Bob and Doug. He was talking about making your beds and having a hot meal cooked. There was talk of a nice cup of tea. I want your Airbnb review. How was it?
It was great, as far as we can remember. Yeah, no, everything went great. Once we got here, we hit the ground running and got very busy very quickly, as they had a pretty busy timetable for us. But it's been great. Everything was set up. He had the food set up. He had at least a picture of a pizza for us when we got here, which was somewhat exciting yet disappointing all at the same time. And then all our food was set up by service, so that was pretty cool. And since we were each in a different branch of the armed service, it was pretty easy to tell whose was whose. And it's been great. Had our own our sleeping quarters was already set up, ready to go, and we just settled right in and started to get to work.
Good. Well, make sure to leave him 5 stars in your review. That's going to help him for future bookings. And Chris, look, I know a big part of people coming aboard the ISS isn't just the turn-down service. It's obviously getting them oriented. You know, to those of us on the outside, it looks like a bit of a maze in there. How long does it take to get oriented to that place? Does it become second nature pretty quickly?
Well, both these guys have been here before multiple times, so the just moving around was not anything new. But just like if you come to my house as a visit and I say go find the hammer in the garage, it'll take you a few minutes to find the tools you need. It's helpful to have somebody tell you or have a piece of paper that guides you where all those things are, and that's exactly what it's like up here for all of us. As soon as you arrive, it takes a few weeks of doing the cycle of daily activities to really remember where things are located and make your day efficient. You can have a lot of your time, I don't want to say wasted because it's all in the name of work, but spend a lot of effort trying to find things and get things organized so that we're ready to execute our primary job. But once we all do that, we're off and running as a crew.
Look, I know one of the duties aboard the ISS is actually to go outside, which to those of us on the ground doesn't seem like a very smart idea, but I know that you are engaged in spacewalks up there. And Bob and Chris, I know you're in a very exclusive club now of only 4 NASA astronauts to have done 10 spacewalks, so congratulations to that. You know, one of my favorite space stories is Ed White on Gemini 4, a first American to do a spacewalk, and when he came back in the hatch, he famously said that it was the saddest moment of his life. I wonder how that strikes you. Is there something bittersweet about having to come back down to Earth and say goodbye to that remarkable view up there?
Well, absolutely. I think for both Chris and I, when we started this mission, certainly when we started planning it, we didn't have any dreams of getting to 10 spacewalks and joining that club with Peggy and Mike L.A. as members of, the NASA Astronaut Corps who've done that many. So we didn't expect it. Just a few short weeks ago, it seems like at this point, I guess a couple months ago, based on launch, but a few weeks before we actually launched into space, the numbers of EVAs started to become apparent for the battery activities that we had, and it became clear that Chris and I might actually do 4 EVAs on this flight just to accomplish the nominal plan of work that was in front of us. I think during our 5th EVA, or during the 4th EVA, as we wrapped everything up, we had gotten far enough ahead that we did have the luxury of taking a few minutes to take pictures and just reminisce a little bit about our experiences. And I'm really glad that I got a chance to do some of that. In fact, Doug got a wonderful picture of both of us looking out the cupola windows, and it's one I think that both of us will cherish as a picture, as a capstone for that 10th spacewalk that we were able to do. And of course, it is bittersweet to not get to do another one. I think at this point, the only way that would happen would be a contingency happening on the International Space Station, and that's not something we're hoping for.
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about the return trip here. America's space program really was built on capsule technology, and yet it has been 45 years since we have seen a manned capsule touch down. And so I know that you're veterans of the shuttle program, which for all intents and purposes lands like a plane. The capsule return is obviously very different. I know it's an 18-hour return trip. Tell us a little bit about what you're expecting and what you're going to be doing during that time.
Yeah, it's a great question. We'll undock, at least on station time, we'll undock very late in the evening Saturday night, and then we undock and then start what we call phasing towards the landing opportunities on either coast of Florida the next, what would be the next afternoon on Sunday. And so we'll undock, do our departure from station, and then once we are safely separated from station, there's a few things to do inside Dragon, and then we'll go to bed, get some sleep, and get rested up for the next day. And then I think the timeline has us getting up approximately 5 hours prior to splashdown, and so we'll go through the process of getting suited up and doing the checkouts of the vehicle, the various separation sequences that occur prior to the deorbit burn, and then the deorbit burn and entry, and then a parachute landing tentatively scheduled right now off the Gulf Coast side of Florida on Sunday afternoon.
Well, you've got a lot of people down here that are very excited to watch this process. The launch was the #1 show in America, and I think one of the really impressive things is that millions and millions of children, millions of kids tuned in to watch it. So you guys, I hope will take some comfort that you are inspiring a whole new generation of space enthusiasts down here. Look, I would love to just hear in the short time we have left. This mission has really been historic in so many ways, not the least of which is that it's this fascinating marriage between private enterprise and NASA experience. What do you want people to take away, especially kids? What do you want them to take away from this Demo 2 mission as we look forward to the future of space exploration?
I think that one of the things that Doug and I would really like everyone to take away from our experience here is that if you do work really hard, you can accomplish great things. And so it wasn't a short road. It did take NASA and SpaceX and the partnership as a whole time to figure out how to work together, figure out how to cooperate to accomplish the mission that we've done. And, that involved a NASA flight control team, a SpaceX flight control team, a SpaceX launch control team, all cooperating together. And so I think we just would like to share that message and let folks know that if they work hard, that cooperation can lead to great things.
Very well said. Well, we are enthusiastically watching your return. Please have a safe trip home, and don't mess up the upholstery in the Dragon capsule. Okay, that thing's expensive, guys.
Yeah, there's no upholstery in there, but we'll keep it clean for the next crew.
Thank you so much, guys. All the best. It was a real honor speaking with you.
station. This is Houston ACR. That concludes our event as we count down to 20 continuous years of humans living and working on an international space station. Thank you.
And with that, this is Houston. Thank you to all participants from Live with Kelly and Ryan, as well as the Discovery Channel. To the International Space Station, we're now resuming operational audio communications.